The Retro Buzz starts right after this.
Hey guys, it's Friday and it's time for the Retro Buzz. I know you guys forgot all about us. We've been gone. We've had a lot of things going on. No, I'm just kidding. How could you forget about us? How do you forget about this guy?
You can't.
You can't.
But more importantly, you can't forget about this guy.
Which guy? Snap your fingers.
What?
Maybe it works. Let's do it. Oh, it's
So
delayed.
close.
You got to work on that. We got to get that down.
Yeah.
What is that?
Okay, so very important. That is the New Wave Toys Dragon's Lair, which they completely sold out of their first run. They're working on a new run now, and that new run will be available on the 17th. So to celebrate that, New Wave Toys is going to give away. There's only 2 of these worldwide. Here's the second one available, signed by Don Bluth. That's going to be given away on the 17th. And anyone and everyone, well, aside from me, is eligible for it. And all you need to do is join the New Wave Toys fan page on Facebook and like the post for this little unit here, and you can win yourself a signed in the hands of the Don Bluth, the creator of Secret and Nim, one of my favorite movies, and Dragon's Lair, Space Ace 2. So if you guys want to try and win one of only 2 in existence signed New Wave Toys Dragon's Lairs, get on Facebook, do a search for New Wave Toys global fan page, look for this face, and make sure you like this post, and you will be eligible to win this.
Wow.
Pretty cool, right?
I'm gonna go do it. You got his attention. Either that.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 2 of them. 2 of them in the
Only
world.
2 of them.
And I do want to point out, though, I mean, we are a very top shelf, highbrow entertainment show, but Glenn did say he is giving away a little unit, and I just thought that was amazing.
I don't understand how Glenn just let him do 2 units. I mean, Glenn himself needs what, 5?
At
Yeah,
least.
listen, I almost would like to give away the fan page just so I could be eligible to win this sucker, but
Do you
do
do you have a special
Don
bag
Bluth,
for
I
it
love-
for the winner? Do you have a special bag for it?
Dude, if I got this if Don Bluth assigned one for me, that thing, I would actually went to like one of those model stores and got the plexiglass one.
Oh,
It would have been worthy of plexiglass.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
That's something you unbox with white gloves on. I mean, it
That's
gets proper treatment for sure.
hey, I'm gonna go sign up for it. You guys, so they
But I'll
can go
tell you,
over.
I mean, Doug's got that Dragon's Lair. He'll tell you too. That console, that Dragon's Lair console, they did a
Best one.
phenomenal job on it. To be quite honest, and again, I paid for it myself, and I'm not trying to screw anything, but it's almost like they didn't charge enough for it. I mean, they just did so
Yeah.
many cool things, from the DVD player to that screen to the LED lights in the back. They just did
HDMI
a great
out.
job.
Mhm.
HDMI out, additional controller ports on there, my phone number in there for the ladies. I mean, they did everything in that thing.
So
Yeah,
there's a
it's phenomenal. It's by far and away the best one they've made thus far.
there's a comment on Facebook. I gotta because our Facebook comment puller's not working really good, but I gotta say, Doug looks like he went driving in my convertible today, like I did. He's like,
Yep,
it's freaking
Freaking
December.
love it. Yeah. So there's a reason I wear a hat a lot of times. It's to maintain the mane, so to speak.
I'll say.
But I left my hat in my car when I went to lunch earlier, so that's what it is. You get the unkept coif. Deal with it.
Hey, it's working. It's working for you. So that's all that matters. Let's kind of dive into. I want to talk a little bit later on about the whole Cyberpunk ordeal. But let's talk about AtGames for a second here. Now, AtGames this week brought out they sent us, a few of these. I had been on the list because of
they sent
all
it
the
to
work.
some people anyway.
Well,
Some
yeah,
people
I kind of
got it.
earned this. Unfortunately, like I put in the work from Legend Center to get this bad boy. The core $59.95. I mean, we all know how this works with the Legends Mini, the Legends Gamer Pro. What I want to know, because Doug and I both have it, Glenn, $59.95. What do you think of that compared to? I know, Doug, you brought up in your video about some of the other consoles that AtGames brought out in the past, like their Sega. I don't know if you want to call them clone units, but what do you think about it, Glenn? What's your take after seeing the price point with that?
You know what? It's really not horrible. Again, it's a foot in the door for the ecosystem. And that's now the thing with AtGames. It's like, again, buying a Tesla. You want to get that download, new software, new features being added. So if you're not really up to getting $100, their keyboards or consoles or the Legends Ultimate yet, or you don't have the space, this is a way, if you have, let's say, an old Xbox, and you have an Xbox controller, that Xbox Classic controller, Bluetooth on there or something around, you can test the waters of this console and see kind of how it works. They have the pinball, they have the bring your own games, they have, the leaderboards, which I think is still one of the coolest things you can have there, because my generation was trying to get those high scores and have the bragging rights. And I still have it in Asteroids Deluxe, by the way. And going on those leaderboards.
People don't forget.
Yeah, so, that's a cool thing. So if you want to have something where you could play some really good games on it, there's 100 games, if I'm not mistaken, right? 100 games on that version. And it takes any kind of Bluetooth controller on there. It's not a bad deal. And as usual, different stores may have it at slightly different prices. But I think we're a foot in the door for getting a nice, and it looks good too. It's like a little puck. Don't use it as a coaster though. Don't put a glass on it. It's not going to take good with the water on it. But
now
it's a
you
nice looking
tell
console. Me. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
But it's a nice looking console. It's got some good games on it. You can add your own games on it. You can try pinball on it. So again, it's not a bad way to get your foot in the door to see if the new improved AtGames is right for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome because, like, with having the Gamer Pro or the Gamer Mini, Doug, I could put it in another room and just bring my controller into that room just temporarily. Like, I don't have to leave it there. I can bring it back down to the room here, and bring your own games, right? You can bring your own stuff over, right?
Bring your own games. Like I said, it's a handy little second room or a spare bedroom or guest room type of little retro gaming device. Like, you don't have to commit to having this big hunky controller or arcade sitting around. You can literally just have it, sitting dangling behind a TV and a console, and have a controller sitting there, and you could just play on a whim, and you can play all sorts of great built-in games. You can stream games locally. So say you got a computer running down in the basement, and you got it connected upstairs or something like that. You can sit there and play your computer games off a Bluetooth controller. All sorts of versatile options you have at your fingertips for a relatively low price point. That it kind of competes with a Raspberry Pi as far as the price point and the functionality. It has a little more features because of the streaming capabilities that the Raspberry Pi doesn't offer. So it's definitely something to think about if you're a tinkerer or a modder.
Well, and I want to say
one thing it's missing. One thing it is missing, and PK, I know you're listening out there. This is a small little unit you're gonna have connected to TV all the time.
Oh,
let it
yeah.
Let it stream YouTube. Let it stream Roku. Amazon Prime, streaming services.
Yep.
If it's already on there, people buy it to stream their TV
That's a good
shows. And
point.
guess what? You get the console as well. That's a simple thing to add. PK.
That's a good point.
Free advice once again.
And Doug brought it up in his video. Is they sell them for Raspberry Pis, the little power button inline that you can do. I agree with you, Doug. For something like this where you're going room to room, it would be nice to have a power switch on it. Not everybody's going to leave it run. I've been leaving them run. I haven't had any problems, but it's like anything. But I got to say this. I'm going to take a word out of P-Dub's vocabulary from his Arcade 1-Up review. He said, he was talking about, you look ridiculous sitting in that cabinet. I feel stupid because I did the whole unboxing and overview video, and I'm watching Doug's video, and he pulls out an HDMI cable out of the box because the way AtGames packaged it, I didn't know the HDMI. Yeah. I still didn't pull out the HDMI cable out of the box. I had no idea that it was in there. So I feel stupid.
It's easy to miss because it's under that shelf, and I've learned I've just learned from doing several unboxings to always check that bottom under tray because there's a lot of packing materials sometimes, and then randomly a cable or two hidden under there just for spatial conservative reasons.
Wait,
And it was just
hang on a second.
what? Oh,
Hey, what's up,
it's Peter
PK?
calling.
Oh, you heard
Oh.
Glenn. Yeah, he's right on. Yeah, he's spot on. Oh, streaming services are coming in 2021. Oh, Glenn will accept the royalty check. Yeah, absolutely. How much do you want, Glenn? How much you thinking?
You know, just slap my face on it. I don't care about my face slapped on it.
I thought we were putting your face on the pulley for the pinball.
My face goes on everything, you know that. Like the mystical P-Dub stickers that no one ever gets. I want my face flat on everything.
No, actually, that wasn't PK. That was JoJo, and JoJo gave us an exclusive right there. That they heard you. Streaming service is coming. That's great. That.
I think that's key.
That
It's
is
convenient. I mean, it's a one-stop shop now because you don't have to like
now you buy a few.
swap out devices because maybe you're running out of HDMI ports on your TV or something like that. You just do it all in one place.
Yep,
that's
it.
That's pretty cool. And maybe Doug, if they can score a deal with Amazon somehow, like you had put in the request back when the Legends first came out about Fire TV support. You know, having that connected somehow, you can now open it up to that library of games. And I know there's not a ton of games on there, but having the retro emulators and the games that you can get with, like, what Dreamcast I think was on there, correct?
Yep.
So having that
those
ability
Dreamcast
opens it
games,
up.
I mean, just anything to open the door for more, options and expandable capabilities is, great for the consumer overall. So, I mean, the more they hear the customer feedback, the more they're able to go back to the drawing board and come up with, new innovative ideas to give the customers more and more for, their value, so to speak. So you're spending $600 on a cabinet, $59 on a hockey puck. Either way, you're getting the same kind of awesome functional capabilities. I mean, that's impressive.
Yep, that really is.
So
that's key. That's the thing now.
So let's shift gears a little bit because I don't want to just cover all AtGames right this second. But let's shift gears again. And I want to tell you something that's really grinding my gears right now. So all of us have been asking from Arcade 1-Up, they've been asking, why don't you put out any shirts? A lot of guys have been putting them out, and you can get them from different people that are not Arcade 1-Up official. So, like you guys probably and everybody else in the Arcade 1-Up world, we got an email this week stating that they have what they call the Red Series with like some really cool Arcade 1-Up logos with like a dragon behind it, some hoodies, and
they're cool looking. They're cool looking.
I'm going to pull it up right now. And I'm not, again, I think the designs are phenomenal here. And let me get rid of that lower third here right quick. I was actually looking at the red drip, the red drip hoodie. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna check it out. Let's see what it costs. I was thinking like $35, $40. $79.99.
Ouch. Ouch.
What?
It's high fashion.
What in God's green earth thinks that this is worth for a stinking logo on the front of the hoodie? This thing better be lined with gold, and it looks like it's a champion.
No.
It looks like it's a champion shirt, so it's cheap. No, it's cheap.
Well,
Come on,
I mean,
Doug.
Well, that's the thing. Like Champion is like really kind of revitalized their brand, so to speak. Because like the year 2000, they were like the cheap Walmart brand, and like the last 20 years, they've become kind of a more uppity, upscale, sport-esque brand that has a little more notoriety to them, so they can charge a little more. Like if you go to like dicksportinggoods.com and you just type in Champion hoodie, you'll find $60 hoodies every day of the week. So it's not so far off the mark for $80 because you throw in some Arcade 1-Up profit margin on a $60 hoodie, but I mean you throw on probably what $14.95 to ship this thing, so you're looking at almost for $100 for a hoodie. That's ouch.
No,
I have to say that to me it's priced out of the demographic for their fan base.
agreed.
I mean, you want to advertise Arcade 1-Up as much as possible to many people as possible. I would love to get a shirt. That's a quarter the price of a $300 unit or something like that. So the demographics who would love to buy these items, I would love to buy them. it's just priced way out of my price range that I would spend on fabric. I know me, I'll walk nude to get another
Please don't.
console
Please
for
don't.
$5. Then send your money this way, people, so I can buy a couple more of these New Wave Toys Dragons Lairs. Otherwise, I'm going nude down the street.
But let's you're wearing a Fortnite jacket right now, okay? So let's put this into perspective. What did
you noticed?
What did that cost? But what did that cost? Was that $69.95?
This cost was free.
Okay, so
Once
if
again, my
He's
son was
coming off a 12-year-old boy.
not use it. So it comes to dad. This was a Christmas gift from my neighbor Mary Parker that gave it to my son. He doesn't wear it. So Daddy Planamento appropriates it. So my cost of this was free. I couldn't tell you what it cost.
But you look at a big brand like Fortnite, and that jacket probably would be $69.99 or something relative $79.99. I look at it. What do you guys think in the chat room? I was thinking $34.99 or $35, maybe stretching it at $39.99 for a hoodie with just the logo. I mean, there's nothing else on the sleeve. There's nothing else on the back. It's not all this extra print. Would you pay $34.99 for this hoodie? And it could have been AtGames. It could have been ToyShock. I don't care. You're crazy if you think I'm going to spend $79.99 for a hoodie with just your. I don't even sell my hoodies with my logo on it for $79.99.
Well, I think Glenn kind of brought up a good point as the demographic. Like Arcade 1-Up's major, most successful retail partnership is Walmart. You don't think of high-end fashion going hand in hand with Walmart clientele. So you're kind of, sending mixed signals when you're saying, hey, you can come find our reasonably priced arcades at Walmart. Oh, and if you want to have a t-shirt or a hoodie that shows your support of the brand, it's going to cost you a third of an arcade cabinet.
Yeah, and I have no problem. I mean, I think, Arcade 1-Up is trying to, step up the game, make themselves look more premium. And I'm totally fine with that. But I just think that maybe start off with a couple of shirts a little bit.
Do it incrementally?
Yeah, a little bit like that, because it was a shock. And I was like, oh, I'm going to buy one of those. I don't know how much it was. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not. I could buy the Dragon's Lair from New Wave Toys for $99 plus shipping.
Yeah. $49.99 would be like my max for a hoodie. That's if I'm paying more than $49.99 for a hoodie, it needs to have like some intricate something like inside the hood print. And
exactly.
Like a girl named
stuff inside the lining or something. Yeah. I mean,
well, and here's
just a hoodie screen printed.
If you're Arcade 1-Up, you're taking the market by storm right now. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. They're still top of the mountain.
When I was in a band, I was in charge of not only the promotions and stuff. I made all the posters. I did the graphic design for our t-shirts. I got a 4-color shirt screen printed for $3.57 in Arizona, shipped to my door. That's what the cost was per shirt. Okay, no matter what size, all the way up to I think 2XL. And then hoodies were I think $8.95. Okay, if I'm Arcade 1-Up and I'm trying to grab on new users, why not include these in some of these cabinets and just raise the price just slightly to cover some of that cost? I could tell you probably a lot of the guys here in the chat room would love a t-shirt like that and not pay $40, $50 for a stinking t-shirt that just has a logo on it. Like you said, Glenn,
right.
The demographic ain't going to do that.
It is. I understand like the stools and stuff like that, Pac-Man on or Mortal Kombat, you got to pay a licensing fee. Well, the Arcade 1-Up owns their logo. They're not paying a licensing fee for that. So I personally, for me, again, I just think it's too high. I think that, the users, like you said, want to spend money on the machines, but also would like to advertise for them. They're pretty proud of their stuff that they purchase.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think that it's just almost the price of a New Wave Toys console or even a numbskull console at $150.
Yeah.
Get 2 shirts, you could have bought that. So to me, personally, it's high.
And the only thing I had as far as the criticisms of the design, and this is something I mentioned to them when they first kind of came out with that teal one, was a couple of these designs have A1U logos, like miniaturized shorthand. And I was like, I've never, ever seen or heard a single person in the forums, chat rooms, video messages, anything ever refer to Arcade 1-Up as A1U. It's always either Arcade 1-Up or A1-Up.
A1-Up.
It's
Yeah,
never
I would agree with that.
A1U.
Yep.
A1U sounds like your technical college or something.
Yeah. Or like a university. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
No, that's 100% accurate.
And not one of those damn shirts had a picture of John D on there dressed in drag. Not one. I would have paid $80 on that one.
Would you? You would have paid $80 for that one?
John D. Yeah, it's John D.
Okay.
You know, come on.
Okay. All right. All right. It's cool. Hey, again, guys, we're trying to discuss some of these topics that, you know, we're seeing as they come up. One of which that came up this week, and I know a lot of you guys have been asking our opinion on it, and I want to give each of the panelists an opportunity to talk about this. This is a very unfortunate event that happened this week. A couple days ago, a transfer tanker that was a cargo ship that was headed over to California hit some rough seas. Unfortunately, there's the aftermath. You can see there's a lot of companies, including Arcade 1-Up, Fireworks, some other companies lost lots of money, guys, in cargo coming over. And we're sorry to hear that. You know, our heart goes out to the companies, man.
All of my Tron joysticks were on that boat.
Were they really?
Every one of them.
Are you?
No.
Oh, I was just about to say, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
The first thing is no one was hurt. Like that.
Yes.
That's the most impressive and most important detail here. Like I saw a lot of insensitive comments and things talking about, you know, oh, but I need this. I'm like, you need to keep perspective. People could have died.
People absolutely could have
bring
died.
you this stuff.
Right.
You don't even know how hard that job is working on that shipping boat. Those people are probably not getting paid near what they're worth as far as the time and effort it takes to bring that stuff across the ocean, not just a short trip. So keep that in, you know, your forethought of perspective when you're thinking about and worrying about, oh, this is delayed or this is delayed. But yeah, this is very significant, very impactful. Was it 1,900 containers went overboard?
Yeah.
Loads of companies affected by this right before the holidays. It's unfortunate. It's not what anybody wanted. Nobody, you know, wanted delays or to see their product go overboard. But the most important thing is no one was seriously hurt. No lives were lost. And that's the big takeaway.
And Nemo and Marlin needed their outrun cabinet. So,
well,
I mean, Little Mermaid 3 is going to look amazing with their, you know, crossover with the Wreck-It Ralph, you know, arcade scene that they're going to have going on.
So Rex in the chat, he was saying how don't feel bad for the companies. He said, you know, they're insured.
Yeah,
they filed
insurance file.
Yeah.
I get it. I do. But you feel bad for the company because they were hoping to get some of these, like Arcade 1-Up. They were planning on trying to get pinball out for the holidays, and people berated them because they're like, and even before they heard about this, they were like, you guys suck. I should know better than to listen to you guys. You guys always say that you're going to do this, and you know, and you know, 2 months or it was delayed for 2 months till February, I think, right? That's the date for. And then all of a sudden this story comes out and everybody's sitting there eating crow because, like Doug said, instead of worrying about, hey, was anybody hurt? Did anybody go overboard with these things? I mean, I watch Deadliest Catch. I'm into fishing and hunting shows.
Oh,
I know what goes on those
I would have
ships.
jumped in the water. You know I would have. I would have been in that water. No!
Glenn's going over.
Glenn's going overboard. It'll be interesting to see if people actually do go out there. I mean, it'd be hard to go dive in for that.
One thing I think people are getting confused. I don't believe pinball was on this. I think other Arcade 1-Up products were part of these containers, but I don't think pinball was.
I'm just saying that as general, like you don't understand, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't. Everybody's so quick to attack, you know, before knowing the circumstances. Yeah. You know, what if pinball was on there? I bet you'd feel like that big, right? So I don't know. I guess that's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it just goes back to perspective and, you know, maintaining, just keeping your eye on the prize. The fact that human life was not lost. That is the most important thing here. Is it unfortunate that, you know, certain products won't get delivered in time and that potentially prevents somebody from having an awesome Christmas morning? Yeah, that's, you know, a major negative as well, but that's not something that these companies wanted, you know, to see happen either. These companies want to sell you this product just as bad as you want to buy this product. It's not for a lack of trying. It's just sometimes, you know, there's circumstances beyond people's control. In this case, natural disaster.
Oh yeah, and you don't have any control over things like that. You gotta roll with it. But you know, Camo says not every company has the best cargo insurance, and all the shippers on the vessel share in the loss at sea based on the value of their shipment percentage. So if it's like the Deadliest Catch, they get a percentage of how much crab they bring in and everything like that. Well, all of a sudden I don't know, what is it, 7 to 10 days for a voyage to go from Japan to the West Coast? Is that about what it is for these ships? So you imagine how much time in that is now lost for those shipping companies that, like you said, maybe you're not getting any kind of insurance kickback on that. It's still, any way you look at it, it's devastating, right?
Yep. So
that was something I thought was interesting this week, because at first when it came up, I thought, wow, did this really happen? And it actually did, happen with that. So just remember that next time something happens, before you go jump the gun. So there was a lot of controversy this week. Go ahead.
Contact James Cameron. I think we can contact James Cameron. Maybe we can go down and get some sweet treasure at the bottom of the ocean at this point. You never know.
At least it's in a steel container.
His Titanic cranes out there. And, aquatic robots with their because those aquatic robots had arms, so you can get down there and have them start unboxing. See if you can drive.
Don't give him ideas.
I'm telling you, I can get more than 5. I'll get 6 or 10.
And you won't need bags because they'll be in the steel container.
No, I'm going to keep them in the steel container. I'm not going to take them out. You can't take them out of the steel container.
There you go.
Leave it in.
Yeah.
So there was something else that hit this week too with the AtGames. There was a typo that hit the Twitter for the Gamer Mini. It was coming in at $199. We just want to confirm it is $129. If you didn't go to the website, you could see it is $129, and I think they've got a deal going on right now where you get some pinball games, or you get something, and I've seen a lot of chatter about it. I'm trying to be very diplomatic with my thoughts on this, because I'm sorry. I was in the group this morning, and I felt like I'm going to be completely transparent. I felt like I was in a room with a bunch of kindergartners who weren't getting their own way. And I'm like, really? Why?
What they want.
I get that. I do. But I'm like, I just like, contact AtGames. Why are you guys all griping in here, making this big long thread? Get the official information from them. Like, I don't know. I had to walk away because it was just driving me nuts. Not everybody, but there was a few people in there who.
Yeah. I mean, we live in a world where search boxes don't exist. People ask. My favorite in the Facebook groups, and Glenn will probably appreciate this one, is when somebody posts a generic, "Hey, does anyone know when Glenn's trackball or something will come back in stock?" And my initial reaction is like, why don't you ask Glenn? You literally have Glenn's name in your question.
And the AtGames guys are in.
I have cooties. No one talks to me. I have cooties.
The AtGames guys are in the group, right? Yeah. So everybody just gets everybody fired up. I think that's the thing that drives me nuts, is just tag the guys, wait for them to respond, and then if they say something that you don't think is fair, then kind of, talk. That's how things get changed. But I mean, they're firing each other up. It was funny. It's like this guy's firing this guy up, and this guy's calling this guy this, and I'm just like, okay.
Well, a lot of it, I think it just comes down to people wanting to vent frustrations. Like, if you want to truly enact change, then you need to direct your conversation, your criticisms, or whatever to the appropriate parties. If you just throw it out as blanket statements and expect, people to come running and, enact this upheaval of change, that's not the best way to do it. Like, if you're unhappy with Arcade 1-Up, AtGames, any of these companies, they screwed you over, they gave you the wrong product, they gave you a broken product, don't just blanket statement complain on an open thread. Just you need to contact the appropriate people, whether it be tagging them, contacting customer service or whatever, stating your opinion that way. And then if you've got an entire thread or series of them not helping you, then you can go out there and you can, light the pitchfork, so to speak, and, get the army assembled. But until you really do it the appropriate way, you're not helping anybody other than just simply venting your frustrations, maybe making yourself feel better for 15 minutes.
What is wrong with you, Doug?
I know it's that whole freaking sensibility
What is
thing.
wrong with you? There's no reason on the internet. Come on.
Well, and so this is.
I ask too much. I know.
This is what helps new users, because a lot of people, these same guys that are complaining like this, will be the first ones to say to somebody that comes in there and says, well, how much is this going to cost? Well, they answered it in a thread. There's 3 threads down below that they answered this in. but they can't find it because of your muck that you've got going on here because you're complaining about something. So keep that in mind. That's stuff that I see all the time, and people get frustrated with those users because
Good going, Doug. Now your intelligence and wit is going over to Steven now, using logic and smartness. It's spreading. Thank God it doesn't get to me.
yet. Just give us a few seconds. So can we talk about a company that we don't really talk about a lot on this show because there's really not a lot to talk about sometimes. Can we talk about it? And that's
Proceed.
ToyShock.
All right.
So
Yeah.
before the last
Well,
show,
they've been quiet for a long time.
well, before the last show, everybody's been wondering, like, what's going on with ToyShock? We haven't heard anything. Well, all of a sudden, Mrs. Falk came out and threw the pinball, the tabletop, which we all talked about last week with P-Dubs. In that time frame, they were generous enough. They sent me the 1.2 board because the 1.3 board might not be till January, February. I don't know. They didn't really give it time, and I understand that. And I've been patient. But Jeff was really nice about it. He said, hey, I'm going to send you a 1.2 board. And I have to say, the dramatic change in the game, the drastic change, if people are on the fence about the arcade 1-up pinballs or the Legends Ultimate pinballs, maybe it's out of your price range, even if it doesn't have the 1.3 board, let me tell you, my kids and I played that after the 1.2 board was in there for about 6 hours. My wife had to come down and pry us away because class of 1812, my daughter and I were going back and forth. And then my son comes down and gets 12 million points because the highest we could get was 10 million. He comes down, plays it one time. I'm like, really? So if you're on the fence about it, yeah, it's still in the family. If you're on the fence about it, the 1.2 board, honest to God, you pinball gurus out there might see a little bit of lag. You might notice just a tiny bit. But honestly, I understand. This thing is like phenomenal now with that board, and I can't wait to see what 1.3 is. So for that price point, $399, if you're wondering, should I get it with the 1.2 board, get it with the 1.2 board. And the ability to save the scores. That was something I couldn't do before. So kudos to ToyShock for just kind of slipping in there with all the news, with everything else, and kind of saying, well played, toys. Batter up. What do you think, Doug?
They threw down the pinball gauntlet for sure. I'm happy to see the working boards out there. I mean, we talked about it a couple of months ago, and then there was the whole mix-up of the boards that were supposed to get sent out to customers, got sent to the manufacturing plant to go in the new machines type of thing. So I'm happy to hear somebody's getting a new replacement board and they're happy with the results, because I would have been super disappointed to hear, after months and months of waiting for these new replacement PCBs that nothing changed. But you're saying it works phenomenally better. So, I mean, that's great. I'm glad to hear it.
I mean, fast. The ball's moving fast, and I almost venture to say, AtGames, don't shoot me, but the ball's moving faster than what the balls are moving the same games that you just released.
Is that going to be some of these companies' taglines, like our balls move 2% faster, 5% faster than a company?
I'm just saying, if you're going to compare Haunted House on here to the 1.2 board on the ToyShock,
you could essentially do an apples to apples comparison. Yeah,
the ball floats a lot more on the AtGames. Now, I will stress, I have a 4K TV. You got a 24-inch monitor. This goes back to our whole resolution bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I change the 58-inch TV 4K to 720p at 30 frames, like the ToyShock, does the ball move the same? So before everybody starts going to AtGames with a pitchfork, I'm just throwing that out there as of right now. Let me do some more tests with it. But initial tests are the ball's much faster on the ToyShock for at least Haunted House and Black Hole. And I had my kids. I didn't say anything. I said, which one do you rather play it on? They said, right now, ToyShock. So they just said the ball moves better. That's how they say it. The ball moves better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I mean, that's all that really matters, is the end user experience. Like, you could sit there and, split hairs and talk technical specifications, but at the end of the day, if the average person or the end user just doesn't see, notice, or even care about those details, it's a moot point.
Right. What do you think, Glenn? Have you tried any of the new pinball games on the Legends or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been playing the Legends a lot now because I'm in the contest. I'm in the Legends Connect contest. I know Doug finished this a while ago, and I'm still a nobody, still slaving away at it. So I've been playing quite a bit of pinball on it. Yes, I have. And at least in my house, you got to be on Ethernet. I was trying to do it on Wi-Fi for a while, and I was like, oh my god, the ball just freeze. But when you're in Ethernet, my son's not playing Fortnite. It plays well, but again, I enjoy. See, I'm a little different than most people, I know you guys will say that already, but I enjoy things for what they are. I don't enjoy them to be precisely like, the arcade experience, 100% perfect. I'm a close enough, and I can enjoy it type of guy, unless it's Kathleen Kennedy involved, in which case, all right, I relent. I can't. And you know what? I don't want to get on a tangent here, but how is she still here? How is she still doing all this stuff? How? I know you guys must have saw the Disney thing where all the new shows coming out. If you noticed, all the Star Wars shows are of classic characters. No Finn, no Rey, no nothing. Nothing to do with the new one. You know why? Kathleen Kennedy, because you ruined them. Anyway, I didn't mean go on a tangent.
Well, didn't I hear the guy that plays Kylo Ren? He's going to play Darth Vader. No, that wasn't him.
No.
Who is it? Who's it? Okay,
Hayden
sorry.
Christensen, right? The guy who goes sand. I don't like sand.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Glenn. How does that make you feel that he's going to be playing Darth Vader?
Well, you know what? First of all, I'm a little heartbroken that we lost the real Darth Vader recently passed away, and that David Prowse. And I feel really, really bad that Lucas kind of treated him the way he did for so many years. He was kind of left on his own accord. He really was.
Cut out.
And I think that was very wrong that Lucas did that to him. But I'd rather actually see Hayden Christensen reprising his role as Vader versus anything in the sequel trilogy. It's a difference of vomiting in your mouth and swallowing it, or being a human centipede and being at the end of human centipede and having to swallow what they're pushing out. So there's a difference.
Wow, that's
Did you just think of that? Did you just think of that on the spot, or were you really like stewing on that for a while?
No, that was on the spot, but it's what happens when Kathleen Kennedy's involved. It's what happens.
Oh my gosh.
Good Lord.
Okay, well, that answers that question. Okay, Doug, you got anything else?
Glenn's mind goes to some dark places really fast. That's all I can.
Wow.
Really take away
Okay. How do you follow that up?
Yeah.
We go from pinball to like death be us all because of Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, because they had the whole thing with the Disney Day and all these new shows, and a lot of them look great. I mean, I'm going to be honest. The Mandalorian, I am love tripping on the Mandalorian. I really liked the last episode. Tragedy was called, I believe, right? Was Tragedy? Loved it. I loved it. I don't want to spoil for anyone else out there, but there was some really good characters that came back that we were always worrying about for years. And I think they're doing a great job. And she's got no finger in it, which is awesome. And all these shows that are coming up there have nothing to do with her, and yet she's the one presenting up there. How, Disney? How?
Because she's an executive. That's how it works. I mean, if you watch the rest of that Disney live stream, and they had a lot of, crusty old rich stockholders up there presenting things that, don't really have anything to do with the day-to-day creation of a lot of these projects, but, they're high up on the board, so to speak. So
she destroys. She doesn't create. She destroys.
Well,
give it time.
So some people like it. Some people are going to continue to like it. We're going to take a quick break. If you're in the market for a new marquee and you want one of those lit up marquees and you want it now, check this guy out. So, guys, make sure you get your orders in. I know Angel's taking off between Christmas and New Year's. I mean, here's one of the marquees. Now, he made this for me, but he also gave me the decal to put over the top of the stock Miss Pac-Man. So I'm kind of keeping a hold of this. I might switch it out, but what I've been doing is I wanted to keep a hold of this so you guys could kind of see the craftsmanship that he puts into this is just phenomenal. You got these plastic pieces that hold the transparent marquee in place, and he even matches the color of the actual cabinet. So check it out, and he even includes all that you need. Here's the light that goes inside of it. So Angel's been tremendous, here, and he does it as a passion of love. It's not even a his main business, if you will. So if you're looking for something like that, check it out. We all been using his marquees for, since he started doing it. So go check him out. Disability Upgrades. We really appreciate all that he does for us. So let's talk about this Cyberpunk deal, right? So if you've been on social media and you've seen the complaints, just about everywhere.
A really good one. Yeah.
Glenn's gonna be laughing us out.
Glenn's not a modern console.
So let's set the stage here. So first it was delayed, right? It was delayed a couple weeks. Then it finally comes out. Go ahead.
It's been delayed like 3 times, honestly. Yeah.
So okay, it's been delayed. Finally comes out. They stick to the date. Finally, they peeled the sticker back and it said December 10th, right? I think that's what it was. Yeah. December 10th. You get the game. It's for PS4 and Xbox One with a up-res, if you will, for the newer consoles, so you can play it on the newer consoles. So the Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5 versions aren't going to come out till next year, supposedly. That's what they're saying. No big deal. I wanted to play the game. It had a lot of good hype. I went out and bought it. Then I see all over Forbes and all these other articles, people saying it's running at 15 frames a second. They're worse than 8-bit graphics, Glenn. And I'm like, do I really? I'm paying $60 for this, So I get it home.
Yeah. It's a brand new priced game. It's fully priced. It's not, a $29.99 special or anything like that.
So I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay, am I going to regret this? I liked Watch Dogs, and this was a lot like. So I'm like, okay, I put it in, and I played it for 2 hours last night. I got sucked into it. I didn't see one glitch. I didn't see one problem with it. But the difference was I was playing it on a PS5. So how do you come out with a game that's for a previous generation console, and it doesn't play good on it? And Doug, I'm assuming you played on Xbox Series X?
I picked up my Xbox One copy, and I'm playing it on my Series X. And while I haven't noticed anything that is like a game-breaking glitch or anything, I have noticed more than a few graphical glitches. Nothing like too crazy. It's just a lot of times it's like background things that like you start to walk and they like flicker, they disappear like in and out as far as them like, showing the resolution. Like it'll be a building or whatever, and it's like all gray. And then you take like a couple steps forward and then it like completely fills it out to where you see all the windows and the side of the building, everything. Notice little things like that. But the other videos I've seen throughout the internet of the PlayStation 4 and the regular Xbox One experience, I mean, there's nothing you can say except for the fact that clearly this was not developed long enough. This wasn't, a finished product. This was literally, okay,
You're being too nice, Doug.
Sweep everything off the desk. Just ship it out the door because we're done. We got no more time. That's the only thing you can say about those, experiences that people are getting on the previous console generations, and which is very sad to say because it's not like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 were like super underpowered machines or anything like that. They're
Right.
very capable machines. It's just they didn't obviously put in the time to develop these ports properly across all the different avenues that this game was coming out to.
And Glenn, to your amazement, it was a modern day game that played like an Atari game.
No, it didn't, because Atari played at 60 frames per second every time.
Oh, how did I know he was going to say that?
Even my Pong does.
So, but I mean, where do you think the logic is there? Did they not test it? I mean, that's when they did their last delay. That was their
number one, I don't want to call it excuse, but reasoning and rationale they said was they just needed more time for testing. They said, hey, we're putting this out on PlayStation 5, or
Yeah,
all these different
yeah.
consoles system. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I get it. You're putting it out on multiple different consoles and PlayStation and or PC and Steam and all that kind of stuff. I get it. You're putting it out on tons of different formats. However, dear God, test that stuff. Like
Yeah.
this was stuff like that was broken in like the first couple of minutes of gameplay. It's not like 15 hours in that you're
Right on
starting
the
to
selection screens.
unravel. Like this was stuff that was like low hanging fruit as far as QC issues or testing and development.
Would you say though, I mean, this is my recommendation, but would you say that if you're looking to buy it and you have a previous generation console, get the PC version?
Yes.
If you want to play it.
From what I've seen online thus far, like
Yeah.
I like I said, I'm playing the Xbox One version on my Series X. I'm having a really good experience with it. I've heard it's complete opposite if you're playing this game on the Xbox One. So if you have the newest generation, definitely go that route. If you don't have the newest generation, you have a gaming PC, that's probably your safest bet.
So some guys
Bobo Starkiller said there was a 4th update out today
okay.
on it. Now, of course, my games don't need updates because they work great.
Well, this had a 46 gigabyte like install like day one just to play it. Like I put it in there and it's like, all right, an hour and 15 minutes. I was like, what?
Was there
Guess
two?
I'll
Did you get
go-
2 discs in your
Yeah, there's 2
Xbox?
discs.
That's what I have.
Mhm.
I have 2 discs in
But I
my
was like,
PlayStation 1.
I'm used to these modern games, having lengthy install and load times and stuff. But like an hour
Yeah.
and 15 minutes, I was like, dear God, man! Like I missed the days when my only problem was like the NES cartridge that I had to blow on just to try to get it to work.
Again, it comes back again to, okay, you had to download all that today. What happens if you're going to play that in 12 years after the apocalypse and there's no servers? That game ain't working again.
Well,
That game's done.
So you bring up an interesting point, Glenn, because this is kind of what I was thinking. I was hoping it would go this direction. We've had so many discussions about physical media versus digital media.
Right.
I want to ask you guys.
That's not physical media.
I was going to say,
not.
what do you? So do
It's
you
a key
think
to download stuff, and it's
It's a
ridiculous? I'm
product
sorry
key.
to cut you off, but it pisses me off because that you purchased physical media is not physical. If something happens to servers down the road and your machine, you got a brand new machine, repair it, and server's gone, you can't download it. That game is done. It's a paperweight. That is not physical media. That's just the same garbage, downloadable content they could have got with the other machine.
does it make a difference now at this point, Doug? If you have based on what we're seeing now with these new consoles, if you have a physical version or you have a digital version, I'm inclined to say no.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I saw that install time, I was like, yeah, just to Glenn's point, I basically paid for a CD key unlock, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's no reason to have that kind of install for a physical game if everything is on the disc. I mean, it's 2 discs for crying out loud. Like if I've got 2 discs, it's full of all that data. I shouldn't have a 46 gigabyte.
You buy a car, you get 2 keys. So you got 2 keys. There you go.
But that's the thing that I'm with you. I want physical media. I didn't have this with my PlayStation 2. I didn't have this with my Xbox 360. I can use those discs. Now, there is add-on content for certain games on Xbox 360 and PS3 that I'll never be able to use because the servers are down, to Glenn's point. But I can still play the game. But PS5, I don't think we can.
No. If you brought that disc home and had a server problem, guess what? You were not playing that game, period.
That's bad.
I mean, it'll be a moot point when the zombies take over and kill us all, and we're all living in the apocalypse without power anyway.
Didn't that happen once with, I think it was Sony, that their servers had gone down? People couldn't initialize their PlayStation or something like that.
That was PS3 or PS4.
Yeah.
PS3. Right.
They're online or whatever. Yeah, I got hacked and everybody's user information got out there, and they sent like, hey, here's a $10 gift certificate because we exposed your private information. I hope that's okay. And I was like, what?
Yeah, last time I exposed my privates, I went to jail. So come on.
Well, so this is why
Glenn's on a list.
This is why I figured we could bring this up to talk about, because you guys know we've spoke about this in its entirety, way back before the consoles were released. But now if you want to save $100 because you're not collecting the physical games, it really doesn't make a difference at this point.
No.
If you buy digital
I'm changing my opinion now on these the physical versions or the non-physical, because after hearing this thing here, that's the new norm, that you're gonna have to download a ton of content. There's really no reason to spend money unless you want to, play Blu-ray video,
Yeah. 4K
right.
Blu-rays.
There's no point to it. You are basically suckered to pay more money for content that's still not physical. It's still not yours permanently. It's still a downloaded contented game, and that's really pisses me off because they're suckering so many people. I mean, I was suckered too. Like, I would buy that. Of course, I'm not, but I would buy the ones because it's physical. It's not. It's just a lame key to download stuff, and it's garbage. That's my opinion. That's how I feel.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm kind of feeling that way with you right now. Nintendo's doing it right. Nintendo's giving you cartridges. Yeah, you have some downloadable content, but you're not sitting there for 5 hours while you're downloading 65 gigs of stuff, right?
Now, of course, mine is still in a bag, hasn't been used. So if you
jeez.
did take a Switch game and it did prompt you for a download, can you say no? Will the game play?
Yeah,
Or
it'll
would it
still play.
Say no.
It'll still
Oh,
play,
but
but
there you
there's
go.
like patches and stuff.
Nintendo did something for the fans for once. Oh my God! Yay!
Yeah, they've been doing quite the opposite this last week or so. They're shutting down Switch tournaments and shutting down charity, Joy-Con sales for Etika and just all sorts of corporate BS.
But there's going to be a new Switch coming next year, so you might as well
Of
leave yours
course,
in a bag.
They're putting a Switch on you.
Hey, you can get top dollar for yours, Glenn.
It's still in the bag,
unopened,
man.
in the
That
box.
thing's got like 3 seconds of playtime on it. That's
Oh, okay.
But no, I mean, I think that Nintendo's doing it right with the cartridges. And could there be, and this is what brings me to my next question, could there be a revolution that we end up going back to some form of non-CD platform like we used to have with cartridges? Because everything kind of makes a full circle, right? Like you watch.
They won't.
I would love to say yes, but I don't think. I think
No.
5 years from now, everything's digital, whether we want
No,
it or not.
everything won't. It's about money, and it's even to make those little 2 keys, those 2 car keys you got, Doug. That still
Mhm.
costs money, and it costs nothing to be completely digital, unless people stop buying it, which they're not going to. That's the only way things ever change is you have to stop buying it.
But
then
what
they
about
take notice?
Glenn? What about like flash media? I'm not talking about like, because you could take like a flash. You guys know what a flash hard drive is, right? It looks like a RAM chip for those in the chat room. They could sell something like that that's prettied up and would hold
I agree.
hundreds of
That's basically what the
gigabytes.
Switch- That's what the Switch kind of did. That's when Nintendo left
Sort of,
the,
yeah.
Optical media and went back to that because you can get 128 gigabytes
Cheap.
on an SD card, and it's more capacity than a 50 gigabyte Blu-ray.
Well, you get
And there's
terabytes on it.
There's
It's
no
crazy.
load
That's right.
times. There's no read errors. So it makes total sense. And to be quite honest, I can go to Walmart and buy a 128 gigabyte flash card for like $28. So
So you don't think that the other companies will?
I don't unless
Okay.
people do not purchase downloadable content. And nothing against millennials, nothing against the younger generation, but there was like
What they do.
they're like, oh, okay, oh, I'll buy that, okay, and they're fine with it, and they'll throw it away and not care about it in 5 minutes. And I'm like, "No." But I don't
they
think
get
so.
you.
I mean, look at the Intellivision Amico. All right, that's kind of not a very super powerful console, but it's back to cartridge based, kind of like also like the Retrocade, the handhelds, cartridge based. It'll have a niche, though, until people like me die off, will buy them. But I think in the future, people are going to go for the other way. But also, and people like me, when I buy a game, even if I don't play it much anymore, I want to have it. I still want to have the cards to look at, put in there. People, they don't care. They'll play Call of Duty 55 or Snake 1562, play it and be done with it, and they'll trade it in, and it's fine. So, in that demographic, it's fine. But then remember, when you do go back to the evil GameStop with your PlayStation 62 and Xbox 95, I got all these games I bought. Oh, where are they? Oh, they're on the hard drive. Doesn't mean anything to
Tough.
me.
Yeah.
$5 for the console.
Yeah.
You want to sell those games? We went to this before. You want to sell games to a friend or bring a game to a friend's house? Guess what? You can't.
That's right.
You can't.
Nope. You're right.
Ooh, I'm on a rant. I got 2 weeks of built up rants.
Oh
That's all
yeah, I mean
coming out
it's
tonight.
so. I don't know if you guys saw it, but on social media I posted. I think it was Facebook. I wanted one of those Mario 35th anniversary T-shirts, from the Nintendo store. So I started looking into it. It's like you could only get it by going to the store. Out of the same breath, Nintendo's like, mask up, social distance, but you can't buy our shirts
line your ass
online.
up and get the shirt.
That's right. So Nintendo, you need to figure out what you want to do. So fortunately, one of my buddies that watches the show, he had a friend in New York. They ended up getting it for me. He went into the store and sent it to me.
You got a friend in New York?
Well,
I'm in New York.
Are you near? Well,
I'm
you
not
didn't.
your
Out of
friend.
curiosity,
You didn't answer
how much
the-
did this shirt? How much did the shirt cost you?
It was $35 for the shirt
Oh, okay.
for a Mario 35th anniversary one. So $34.99.
It's 35.
Probably
Yeah,
$7
yeah.
to
35.
ship it. $7 to ship it.
Yeah, it was
So
about
fast.
it was about so it was like $41 for it, but that's kind of like a collectible in a sense because it's not a
Glad
shirt
you
you
got
can
a
find
friend in
anywhere
New
else,
York.
Yeah, because the friend that I have in New York didn't respond to my post. He could have waltzed right in there and got it for me, and I would have gladly PayPal'd him the money. No, he just ignored it. So, anyways, but I thought that was hilarious because it's like, really, how are you not going to make these available online, especially in a pandemic? People aren't going to get in their car and drive to New York City to pick up these shirts.
Nintendo, parent companies in Japan. I have China friends in Japan, and it's not as bad as here. So they're not even thinking of that probably anymore. But Nintendo of America should.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, where's your logic? And all this. Like, why wouldn't you make it available online? I'm sure there's tons of people even in this chat room that would have bought a shirt online. I don't know. It's just like they weren't thinking. So,
Nintendo is masterminds of the whole scarcity and supply and demand type of
Right.
thing. So
That's true.
I mean, it lines up with their business ethics and practices to say, hey, we're going to make 8 of these T-shirts. If you want them, you will have to, pick up a crowbar in the streets of New York and fight your way up to our store and be the last man standing. And then we'll sell you a small one because we ran out of medium and large.
So let's wrap up this show by saying this. Let's give a quick shout out to Jong over at iiRcade, who's been super transparent with the shipping of all the arcades. He posted, I don't know if you guys saw it today, but he did post a tracking sheet. Basically, you could track based on your order, when your order is supposed to hit the U.S. and kind of, do all that good stuff. He has been on top of it, been totally transparent with everybody with the delivery.
Amazing engagement with the community.
100%.
Communication.
Yep.
I think a lot of companies could learn.
The experience. It's about the experience.
He's
and
giving you
John,
the experience.
Yeah, he is
and John
offering
has
a
been-
wonderful experience for the
Since
consumers
day
and the
one.
buyers.
Since day one, Jong has really embraced the community, been very open, and we appreciate that. So it is about the experience, and that's including how he supports his customers, and he's doing a really good job.
So I think that in itself says a lot, and I think a lot of companies could learn from that on how to be transparent. I mean, AtGames is pretty transparent, but there's some other companies that it's like you got to pull teeth to get information from. And you know what we've seen, even all the people that have pre-ordered, not one of them went after Jong with a pitchfork, as you put earlier, Doug.
It's about his transparency, and he's saying, look, every step of the way, he's like, this is what we did, this is the ETAs we were given, and then he gives you an update. He's like, all right, this is what we're hearing now. Things after a certain point are completely out of his hands. He places the order button, so to speak, and then at that point he has to literally just wait and see how things develop. And he's engaging with the community. He's telling everybody, look, he's like, this is the information I've got up to 30 minutes before I hit live stream. He is completely upfront with everybody. He's showing everybody how to track their information just as he would track that information. He's not holding anything back. So, A+ to that guy. I can't wait to get my iiRcade, but I have to, like you guys already said, commend him on his transparency and his communication with the community. It's top notch.
Yeah, I mean, you're less likely to be upset when you know what's going on. You can be patient because things are out of his control. It's not like he's sitting there on top of a stack of them at his warehouse going, I've got them all.
Exactly.
He's not doing that. Glenn would do that, but Jong's not going to do that.
Totally do that.
So that, I mean,
people think I am doing that. As a matter of fact, right now with my products, really quick, I want to tell everyone that the reason that the Tron joystick has not been available is we're trying to make it a single universal kit. You don't have to buy something for AtGames, Arcade 1-Up, or Pi. So we've had a couple of issues with making the cable compatible with everything. And actually, Michael B, the Game Genie, was testing one. We found another little glitch. So it'll probably be January before they'll be available again for the Tron joystick, in all honesty. But it'll be universal. We have about 200 Star Wars yokes that should be arriving. Well, I really hope it wasn't on that boat. I don't know if it was, to be honest. But we had 200 going to Amazon that we're expecting to be there very early in January. So I don't think it was on that boat. So with all said and good, 200 of those will be available on Amazon. People have been asking a lot about the version 3 trackball. We're doing a lot of high-tech stuff in there, and there's some things I didn't like about it. So this is my fault. And I'm making sure that they're doing it the way I want it done, because I think it's the way you're going to want it, have it done. But I think it'll be worth the wait on the trackball. I think that's it for all that stuff, really, that people have been asking me about. So trackballs, Star Wars yokes, really look towards January before they really start hitting the market. But I think it'd be worth the wait. It's how I'd want it to be if I was buying it. I want to make sure you guys have that same experience. God damn it, I got to give $5 to John now.
So we want to remind you guys, too, next week will be the last show of this year. We want everybody to spend time with your families and everything, so we'll be back.
You guys are my family. What am I going to do?
We'll be back, I think, the first Friday in January. So I usually use this opportunity to go over different things in the studio to make sure everything's working, and I already have a few wires that need to be replaced. So I take that opportunity. But, guys, it was a lot of fun. It's been 2 weeks. I had surgery on Saturday, and I've already got the bandage off. There's still some things that need to be healed up with it, but and swelling needs to go down a little bit, but I'm doing good. So thank you to everybody that was messaging me, asking me how I'm doing. As you can see, I'm doing wonderful and got on some medication. So things are going to start looking different here, and I'm excited. It's getting to the end of the year and a new year, a new beginning, a new me, if you will. So I'm really excited. So again, guys, this guy here, maybe he'll get a haircut at some point in 2021. Maybe.
Don't count on it.
Maybe. How far are you letting it grow down for your secret plan?
So as long as I can stand it, let's put it that way.
Wow, he's gonna look like Howard Stern by the time this is over.
That's the thing. Like it's just it's a selfless thing. Like if I have to walk around looking like a goon for another year for a good cause, I'll do it. Like I said,
hey, at least you're not looking like
in my opinion,
as P-Dub says, at least you're not looking like a doofus walking around with
it. I mean, I think I look like a doofus right now, but I'm okay with it just because, like I said, it's for a good cause. But yeah, I'll grow it as long as I can until I absolutely can't stand it. It's absolutely driving me crazy when I'm sparring at the gym right now because like people are legitimately grabbing my hair, and I just feel completely emasculated when that happens.
WWE.
But, yeah, that's life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Douglas Smith, Mr. Cool Toy, go check out his channel if you've been living under a rock and watching this 47 episodes and still have not checked out his channel. What do you got coming up, Doug? You always have some interesting things that are on the horizon. What do we got?
So I put out a new video today on a new emulation console. I think I'm actually just going to take the weekend and spend it playing Cyberpunk and see if I can beat this and see if I can find any more glitches and finish that off. I like to play my games. I don't like to just throw them in a storage unit. So that's what I'll be doing.
Sounds. Is that a shot at Glenn there for putting them in bags in storage?
That was totally.
I thought so. I was like, that's fighting words there. I saw Glenn.
I would have said I like to play my games, not put them in a produce sack. If that was a shit. Got it.
Keeps them fresh. It keeps them
fresh. That was a reference to me looking at the Facebook Marketplace today and seeing somebody selling a collection that was in a storage unit, and I was like, why are your games in a storage unit? You can't play them in a storage unit.
Yeah, really.
He literally has them on standby. Look at that.
Yeah, awesome. He has them on demand.
Oh, you gotta have them.
Oh, I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Glenn Planamento. You can check him out, youtube.com/gplanamento. Do you have any videos coming up? I know
Actually, well, right now, work has been crazy. I work the house system. It's been really crazy. We're finally getting ready to open up a brand new pavilion, about 800 rooms. But in between that, my focus has been on getting the products out and working on the AtGames Legends Connect. Because Cool Toy already put his out there, and I'm still working on mine. So that's the concentration of like this week. However, I know everyone out there loves the Virtual Boy. I mean, people can never get enough Virtual Boy news. I personally only have 3 of them myself, but this here is something I'm going to do a video on, and I'm actually really excited about this. And I think you all should be too, because I think this is how things should go going forward. Now, this is a Virtual Boy flash cartridge, right? Looks like a regular flash cartridge, but that is not a sticker on there. That is a, I forgot what to call it. What are those screens they use in e-readers? E-ink, right? Is it e-ink?
Yeah.
So that is a screen. So as you pick your game, it will change the label to reflect the game you put in there.
Ooh,
I think that's
fancy.
So they got little buttons on the back, so you can program it.
Fancy.
So this is really cool. So I actually sent 2 of these because I'm one of the few schmucks out there that has 2 Virtual Boys. And Street Fighter was ported, and he sent me a link cable. We're gonna use this cartridge and do a link cable playing Street Fighter because I'm the only fool that has 3 Virtual Boys. But again, this thing, I am really excited to do this here. It's called the Hyper Flash 32. And actually, you know what? This thing actually has some weight. It's almost like my Star Wars yoke. I don't know what he put in this thing, but it is heavy. So there'll be a video on this. I'm really excited to take a look at this. I'm hoping EverDrives and other cartridges that come out use e-ink, because it may raise the price. It's not cheap. I'll tell you the price when the video comes out. But I really think it's a neat thing to have a screen actually put the label of the game you're playing on there. I think that's a really awesome feature.
Impressive.
It really is. So I'm taking my hat off to him. And being e-ink, it's okay to be 1 frame a second, because that's how it's supposed to be.
That's Glenn's justification for his Virtual Boy.
3 Virtual Boys.
There you go.
Wrap
3
in bags.
3.
Not Prudent bags, though. They're in like bags, not Prudent
Okay.
bags. So get with that.
I'm still looking to get one. I saw it for like $250, and I'm like, I just can't do that, especially when I know they were at KB for $25 on clearance. So,
well, if you do find one, just to let you know, if you find one that's not working, the biggest thing with the Virtual Boys is this 1 or 2 screens won't work. Everything else seems like the sound's working, screens don't work. Years ago, I was trained by a gentleman who used to repair in the Virtual Boy forums the screens, and he trained me how to do it. So if you find one that doesn't work, I'll fix it for you. It's not hard to do. Basically, the glue, because these screens have little mirrors like the Adventure Vision had, and the glue dries up, and the ribbon cable just detaches. So I just go out my welding torch and weld it back on, and
well, I know
good to go.
After Christmas, I think I need to send you one of my Game Gears and get that recapped and put maybe a new screen in it, because I'd like to be able to play one of them.
Well,
so I'll have to send it over to Glenn. But guys, we really appreciate you tuning in. All of you guys out there, make sure you hit the subscribe button on all the channels, like us. I think the Super Game Room dudes are on tonight in about 2 hours, I think, at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. So make sure you guys go check that out. I don't know if Rex, if he's still here, but I don't know if he's doing a show this weekend or not. But guys, we really appreciate it. And we will see you next week for more of the Retro Buzz. See you later.